Trigger warning. Mentions of suicide and self-harm. If these could be triggering for you in any way, then I recommend skipping this video. Thank you. Man, do I love the 2000s. The movies, the TV shows, and the books were kind of terrible and wouldn't hold up nowadays, but they have this special I can do whatever I want energy that I really love. During this time, though, the Harry Potter franchise was at its peak. It was still alive, and we all didn't hate the author with a burning passion. Everyone could say Harry Potter and not think of the transphobia behind it. It was at this peak that something happened. A girl named Tara posted the first chapter of the fanfiction on fanfiction.net called My Immortal. And this fiction would go on to become infamous throughout the years. Due to its terrible writing, the awfulness and confusion that is the story, but also the mystery behind the author. According to the author's notes, we see that it was written by a girl named Tara and edited by a girl named Raven, but that's all we know. So, who is Tara? What happened to My Immortal? Let's take a look. I know that I'm breaking a lot of rules that I set up when I created this book club. Like, I wouldn't pick a book that's just known for being really bad, and I wouldn't do an in-depth video without a lot of sources, but I really wanted to talk about this book and do something fun, so we're doing this. My Immortal is a Harry Potter fanfiction written from 2006 to 2007, and it has been called the worst fanfiction of all time. The story follows a girl named Ebony Darkness I'm sorry, the name makes me laugh every time. Her name is Ebony Darkness Dementia Raven Way. I can't make this shit up. And she's in a relationship and a bisexual love triangle with Draco and Harry, who goes by Vampire in this story. Now, I will discuss my thoughts and opinions on this book in my review, but for now I will just say it is bad. It is weird and badly written, and to prove it, here are some amazing quotes from My Immortal. I said in a depressed voice. I mean, same though. We both smoked cigarettes and drugs. He was so sexy that my body went all hot when I saw him, kind of like an erection, only I'm a girl, so I didn't get one, you sickos. That's a real line. I didn't change that in any way. That's a copy-paste, man. I may be a Hogwarts student, Hagrid paused angrily, but I'm also a Satanist. He's bisexual. I took out a cigarette and started to smoke a pot. Because that's how you do it. He stated to run out of the place in a suicidal way. What does a suicidal walk look like? I'm curious. He looked exactly like a pentagram. What does that mean? There are a lot more that are just so much worse, but those are my favorites. Tag yourself. I said in a depressed voice. Also, random things in the author's notes that states if Draco and Harry don't get together, then J.K. Rowling is homophobic. And she's not wrong. She was really ahead of her time. The story is filled with so many emo references. At the beginning of the story, the main character compares herself to Amy Lee, the singer of Evanescence, who sang the song My Immortal. She also brings up My Chemical Romance every 5 seconds. Honestly, if you want to get an idea for the characters in this story, just look up emo kid in 2014. Go find like a mood board, and that's it. That's everybody. I need to move on before this becomes my review. Anyway, the fanfiction went on for about a year with 44 chapters, almost 23,000 words before it stopped for an unknown reason. Also, apparently 2 of the chapters were written by someone else because they were hacked, according to the author's note, but I don't know if I believe that because these author's notes are insane, but we'll get to that later. About a year after My Immortal stopped uploading, it was deleted from fanfiction.net, and it's not really known why. I guess they just weren't Wattpad and actually give a shit about what's on their site. I mean, they removed 50 Shades of Grey, so maybe they care. But thankfully, the internet never forgets, and this fanfiction has been reposted everywhere. I think someone actually posted it back onto the site. According to the author's notes, the author claimed that the fanfiction was popular and received almost 1,000 reviews So I'm assuming it was well known in its original run, but has gained a lot more popularity throughout the years. Even though this fanfiction is mocked, I feel like it's the reason people look down on fanfiction. It has real fans. Fans who make fan art and live action series based on it. I'm not kidding. It's real, and I'm kind of tempted to watch it, but I don't know if I can deal with any more of this story. This fanfiction is like The Room. If you don't know, that's a bad movie that became a meme over the years.
I did not hit her. It's not true. It's bullshit. I did not hit her. I did not. Oh, hi, Mark.
It's known for being bad, and it's famous for that reason. So like Tommy Wiseau, you think that the author of this has become famous in her own right, but that's not the case. This fanfiction is famous for more than one thing, and that's no one knows who really wrote it. Now, technically, we do have an author for this work. According to the author's notes, her real name is Tara Glebson, I don't think I said that right, who wrote under the name XX Bloody Wrist 66XX. Oh, that's a terrible name. Anyway, now there is a chance that Tara was just a troll, but I'm going to get into that later. From what we can gather, she's from Dubai. She was goth. She loved MCR and Good Charlotte, and she had a friend named Raven who helped her edit the story. She also mentioned that she would self-harm a lot, and if she had been absent from writing, she would say that was why. Before she posted her last update, she said that she would be traveling to London. The main thing we know about Tara is that she is really goth and shares a lot of the main traits as Ebony. That's all we really know about Tara. There are a lot of holes in her story that don't line up. I honestly just think that Tara was lying online because she was a teenager online and wanted to seem cooler than she actually was, so she was traveling to all these cool places and lived in Dubai. But because of all the amount of hype the story has and no one knows who wrote it, this has led to a whole investigation. People pointed out that Tara said that she was from Dubai, which is in the United Arab Emirates. See, I didn't say that right, and I'm sorry. Tara talks about how much she loves Hot Topic, which is not located in Dubai, so unless she was extremely rich and could fly to different Hot Topic stores around the world, this was not possible. It is also a Muslim nation, so things like Satanism and witchcraft are considered acts of blasphemy. And another note, Tara mentions that she went to Transylvania and saw the castle where Dracula was filmed, but that castle was actually filmed in California. There is a chance she could have been talking about Bran Castle, which is believed to be the inspiration for Dracula. There's also a lot of American slang terms that were popular during this time that also add on to the fact that maybe she wasn't from Dubai. Honestly, there is a chance that maybe Tara went on like a family trip to Dubai and then continued on the lie because she thought it was cool. I think that's more possible. Another main thing we know about Tara is that she had a friend named Raven who helped her edit the first couple stories, and you can clearly tell because the first chapters aren't as bad as the rest of the stories. Raven was also another fanfiction writer and had a character inspired by her in My Immortal. During the story, the two had a falling out, and Tara actually insults Raven a lot, but they later made up and no one knows why. Raven is just as mysterious as our girl Tara. We don't know anything about her other than she self-harms and is a goth. She wrote 2 fanfictions, one she co-wrote with Tara and one that is called I'm Not Okay. Normally this wouldn't be a big deal. Raven's fanfictions aren't as known as My Immortal, but due to her and Tara being close and mentioning each other all the time, she gained popularity. So if Tara is Charlie, then Raven is Dixie. Now, there have been several cases where people believe that they have found Tara, and I will now go through all of them. I'm going to do both of these together because they aren't as big as the other two. Forbidden Fruit, The Temptations of Edward Cullen, is another terrible fanfiction that is badly written by someone by the username of Becky Max666. It's basically a goth vampire falls in love with Edward Cullen. There are a lot of similarities between the two, like the fact that both characters are goth and vampires with terrible names. Oh my god. And with My Immortal, just now realizing that I just said My Immortal and not Handbook for Mortals, so I'm referring to in this section Handbook for Mortals. So sorry. I made 2 whole ass videos about it, and a quick recap is that it's randomly appeared on the New York Times bestseller list, and turns out the author bought her way onto it. It's also badly written, go watch those videos. I worked really hard on it. Now, this is a bit connected to another thing that I will talk about later, but not that much, so I just want to keep going. Because both stories got so known for being bad, people believe that Tara wrote them. And I'm going to be real and say no, I don't believe that she did. Both are just badly written, and that's why they're being compared to My Immortal. Handbook for Mortals is bad, but nothing writing or story-wise is remotely close to My Immortal. I would maybe believe that Forbidden Fruit is written by Tara because she mentioned at one point that she was becoming a Twilight fan, but there are still a lot of differences in writing and in the story that don't match up with My Immortal. For example, it is much more graphic and has some bizarre plot points and characters that just don't make any sense. These people aren't Tara. Around 2008, a YouTube channel called X Bloody X Kiss X, oh my god, these names are terrible, uploaded a video called Black Parade Fan Video by Tara and Raven. Both girls were clearly goth and talked about how much they hated preps. After a couple more videos were uploaded, the channel went silent, only replying to comments. It wasn't until about a year later when the channel started getting noticed, because the girls were believed to be Tara and Raven from My Immortal. They had a song with them singing an Evanescence song, which, as stated, My Immortal is a song by them. The video got them like 46,000 views, and people thought they had finally found Tara. People were asking for autographs, and there were articles praising them. Unfortunately, these girls aren't Tara and Raven. Their real names are Sarah and Rachel, and they were just teenage girls having fun and pretending to be goth. They randomly picked the names Raven and Tara to go by, and they have never heard of My Immortal. They were just having fun and making fun of their goth phase that they had gone through a couple years ago. A quote from Sarah said, "We decided it would be really funny to make fun of ourselves, but we also made these videos to sort of troll other mall goths because we knew that since we really had sort of been through that period where Hot Topic is everything and all these really terrible bands that you think are so rebellious but actually aren't, those bands are your life. Nobody understands you. This isn't a phase, it's a lifestyle." That sort of thing. Anyway, it would be really funny to troll those people that were sort of going through what we went through at the time. These girls didn't mean any harm. They were just having fun, and everybody thought that they wrote a terrible fanfiction. Some people still think that it might be them, but both of them have said that they know it's not them, so they don't really need to go into it. In early 2017, a Tumblr post was created saying that they were the co-writer of My Immortal, but the post gained little attention. In August, a fanfiction press account, which is the sister site to fanfiction.net, where people post original stories, which discussed Tara, My Immortal, and again, it went unnoticed. This all changed when that month, Handbook for Mortals was published. I didn't bring this up in my video for Handbook for Mortals because personally I didn't believe that it's true, but after that drama went down, people thought it had been written by Tara. This led to another post being posted on Tumblr saying that Tara had not written the book, and this got people's attention. The person running both of these accounts was revealed to be Rose Cristino. She was reportedly the co-writer of My Immortal, and she would be dropping a memoir with Macmillan, which would be called Under the Same Stars: The Search for My Brother and the True Story of My Immortal. Apparently, she had the email address created for the original account and a flash drive with 11 chapters on it. According to Rose, she had written this in an attempt to find her brother and wrote it badly on purpose so that she could get into the fandom. She said that she was a Native American Cree lesbian, and when she was young, her brother was phased into the New York City foster care system. People were skeptical about these claims as they didn't line up with what we already knew about Tara, but Rose says that there were legal documents confirming her story, and we had no real reason to believe that it wasn't true. But you're probably wondering, if this is the author, then why haven't you heard of her? That's because a month later, on a website called Kiwi Farms, a site that is just made to make fun of people, I am not joking, a forum was posted saying that he was Rose's brother, and Rose's real name was Theresa, I can't even try and pronounce this, and that all of her claims were false. He was never in foster care, and the story around her and their family wasn't true. Hey guys, I just wanted to clarify something real quick, because there are 2 things that I left out, and I left them out on purpose, just because they were just things I did not feel comfortable discussing. 1, Rose claimed that she had been sexually assaulted during her time in foster care. Her brother said that these claims were not true, but I didn't feel comfortable discussing them because they were so serious, and I don't really want to accuse somebody of falsifying these statements without proof. So I decided to leave them out. And secondly, her brother does give a lot of statements about their family and their family's mental health, and I did not feel comfortable discussing that because that is a personal issue and a family issue, and I feel like that should remain private. So those are some things I left out. Yeah. He also mentioned that their family was white, which went against her being Native American Cree, something that she had stated that she was, and that he had no idea if she had written My Immortal. He just came out to talk about all this. Rose did come out and say that, yes, that was her real name, and some of the claims were true, but she still had written My Immortal. Unfortunately, I think that everybody found out that she wasn't being totally truthful, led to people looking into her. It was discovered that her Fiction Press username had been changed, because up until a couple days ago, before the statement about Lainey, the account didn't exist. Also, people started questioning why someone would use fanfiction to find their brother, which is an amazing question. The book was later announced that it would no longer be happening, and this is the closest lead we've ever gotten to discovering who Tara is, but I don't believe that Rose Christo is Tara. A big question that has been asked when it comes to My Immortal is whether it is a really bad fanfiction or an amazing satire. Was Tara just fucking trolling the whole world? This fanfiction is so bad that it's funny, but it's so bad that you can't help but wonder, is it bad on purpose? This story is The Room, like I said before. It will be a meme until the death of time. Do I personally think it's satire? No. I think if they did write it purposely bad, then I think it's more of a parody than I don't think it's satire just because of the context in it. It doesn't really have a message to use as satire. I think it's a parody of goth culture and a fanfiction with poorly written smut and glorification of suicide and self-harm. But the main reason I don't believe that it's that is because there are 1,000 fanfictions out there that are just as bad and not satire. It's just people writing down ideas for shits and giggles and wanting to share them even when they're bad. While it's possible that it is a parody or a satire, I think realistically Tara had an idea, wrote it down, and probably looks back at it in embarrassment. But that's just a theory. A game theory. No, I can't do it. My Immortal is one of a kind. Even though I didn't like it, I have to admit that this story is something very special. I can't decide whether this story is just a bad fanfiction that someone wrote when they were young and are desperately trying to forget, or is it a brilliant parody or satire? Honestly, I can see both sides. The main reason I didn't like it was because the intense topics in it, such as suicide and rape, were glorified in my opinion. If maybe that goes with the satire and parodiness of it all, but it made me very uncomfortable. Tara also uses the F slur at one point, and I didn't like that. But there are people out there who truly love this story, who make fan art and a fan-made series about it, and it's amazing. Looking at the art and the web series made me weirdly happy. Maybe it's just because I was a fanfiction writer, and fanfictions get a lot of shit. So having all these people come together and support this weird piece of art is incredible. During this year, I've had to really look at authors and stories, and I remember that the best part about all of it is being a fandom. Fans make the stories what they are, in my opinion. We find our own meanings into it. We make stories around these stories and do cosplays and make art and so much more. Fans get made fun of, and some of them deserve this. Some of them are very mean and can be very scary, but there is so much weirdness and beauty in being a fan. And even though my relationship with Harry Potter has changed, I'm still gonna remember the terrible fanfiction I wrote. All the times I spent at Universal Studios, all the weird memes created around it, and so much more. It's due to the fans that has allowed the story to live on in its weird, terrible beauty. And it's amazing how this story and the mystery has become immortal. I know that ending was really cheesy, but I'm gonna be real. This year has been terrible, and I wanted to end this on like a good note. My review of this book will be coming sometime soon, and I also plan to do like an emo look with it, so go watch that when it comes out. Oh my god, this video has been so long. My script was 7 pages long at the time of doing this recording. It is about 21 minutes, and I know that this will be a bitch and a half to edit, so I really hope you guys like it. My videos haven't been getting the best views lately, but I put a lot of effort into these explained videos, so I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Yeah, thanks for watching or listening or doing whatever. Like, subscribe, or do whatever you want. I'm not your mom, can't tell you what to do. And I hope that you finish this year in one piece. Bye, everybody.